Oh, hello everybody. Hey, live stream time. Woo! We're doing temples. Yeah, temple time, temple time, temple time, temple time. That's right. It's time to work on some temples. Yes, excited about that. As you know, we just released a new pack for the watercolor cities or watercolor battle map style, and it is the temple pack. So super exciting stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and make a temple. And first, I'll go ahead and just showcase the art first in the catalog so you can take a good look at all this beautiful, juicy, delicious art that our artists have produced. And I'm super excited to showcase it to you all. Hello, everyone. Hello, King Clown. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and just jump in. I'm going to create a new map. And we're doing watercolor battle maps today. I'm going to put it into high 3K. Just stick it into landscape. And I'm going to create a new map. All right, we'll open up and we'll just do a quick showcase of the art. So let me go ahead and just turn off the custom art here. Go into the pack structure and I'll look for temple and it should be in here. There it is. 106. Largest pack so far in the style. Woo, lots of art, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just expand it all. And we can kind of just take a look at it all. You got this beautiful, like gold crested walls, beautiful. Got some arches here, stones, staircases, all the various staircases you're going to need. Temples always seem to have staircases that take you to crazy places, right? You've got your braziers, lit and unlit. Got some shrines, statues, and oh man, when it comes to temples, you gotta have statues. Lots and lots of statues, right? You need that iconography. We're not iconoclasts here. We're gonna add a lot of icons and iconography in our temple because that's the way it's gonna be. Let's keep going over the art. There's various styles. You've got marble and then we had gold at the top. Got some doors, more statues, rugs. Oh, and a big old pipe organ right there. Oh, I love that. We're definitely gonna have to add it into our temple, I think. Okay, so yeah, so lots of different options, lots of fun stuff. Now, someone the other day ago had asked me about how is it that I set up my buildings. Like sometimes the hardest part is just getting started and you don't know the shape of the building. And so that's really hard to come to that conclusion. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about it, both inside the tool and outside the tool. Obviously, outside the tool, you can go to Pinterest or images search and kind of just look up the overall layout that you're looking for. But of course, before you're deciding your layout, you might want to figure out what the temple is. So a little bit of pre-development helps first. So you have to decide, is this a temple? Is it a shrine, a cathedral? And what is it giving homage to? Is it a god of thunder, a goddess of lava? Is it going to be a water spirit? Is it going to be the owl god? Is it going to be the god of the dead? Is it going to be a whole group of gods? Will it be a local god who's just involved in municipality affairs? So, I mean, it always helps to first have a general idea first of what is going to be involved in the temple, and then it's easier to choose the layout, the rooms, and all the different functions. So first we have to decide that. Now I've thought of a couple ones. I wanted to do an owl god that transports souls. It's just a transporter, not a judge, but a transporter of souls. They go and they fly throughout the graveyards and pick up souls, people who have died. Owls have long been a symbol of death, unfortunately, to their own detriment. Unfortunately, in most of medieval European history. But owls in pagan history have been sacred, sacred animals representing wisdom. And so we could do like an owl lord one, or we could do something else if anyone prefers, like maybe making a temple that's involved with the elements, fire, wind, earth, water. So it's up to you guys what you want to go with. I personally thought the owl lord was kind of fun, and it kind of gives us an idea of what were the room and the functions. Like, will there be a giant room where there's a perch for the owl lord to sit on? Or to perch? Will there be like a pool where the owl lord drops the souls into the pool or echo chamber or whatever it might be that you're kind of coming up with? So I really thought that the owl thing was a good idea, but I'm cool with other people's suggestions, so I can work on the fly. It's all right. If you have other ideas, don't be afraid to suggest them. Okay, so let me first explain a little bit about, I want to show this technique, a couple techniques that I've used in the past to help me develop an architectural sense, to have like an idea of like what the room will look like. And there are a couple options. Within the tool, you could just go to a different style altogether. And you can, if you want, use Fantasy Battlemaps, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase real quick. Get out of that. I meant Fantasy Regional HD. And you can use an isometric stamp and then use it as a guide. So there's that option. I've done that before. I'll put one down. You can kind of take a look at it. Let me type in temple. They might have one. Temple. Here we go. So you can use a stamp as a guide. And that way you have some kind of reference on the overall outline of it. Now that's one way you can do it. I've also done other ways where I've used watercolor cities, and it's kind of popular to create like a silhouette outline and then use that as a guide. So, and these stamps are already top down, so it's kind of helpful to kind of get the shape that you want. So let's just say that I want to create a temple like this with a dome in the top. And then I want to maybe add something else to it because I don't like that shape. Maybe I want to type in something else. Maybe we can go to that desert pack and keep using some of those stamps. So I'll go to desert, and there should be some desert stamps in here that I can choose from. And you can choose, I like to choose one of the larger ones, nothing too complex, but I like to add something else into it. So if you're not satisfied with just this general shape, you want to have an extension going out like a hallway leading to a rectory where maybe the priestly orders live, or if you want to add in like a garden on the side or whatever. There's all these different options that you can choose from. So maybe I want to add like a little rectory on the side like this, and then I want to just take the whole thing and then just remove the shadows and then drop the brightness. And now I have this silhouette or a vignette, or sorry, a silhouette of the structure that I'm working for. And I can rotate it around. Let's say I want to add something to the side. I want to add some more buildings to it. So you're just making the silhouette. And then from there you can group. Let's say that you've grouped it together. And then from there I like to use the path tool to kind of create the different rooms that I might want. So maybe this right here is a separate room. This is the rectory. Maybe I want this to be like the vestibule, which is the kind of the entrance in a cathedral. A vestibule is like the entrance. And then you would have something what they call like maybe the nave, and then the sacristy in the back. That's up to you how you want to go about it. I'm just using terms from traditional cathedrals, but there's actually tons of different options you can go about. Personally, I wanted to have a giant dome. I thought that's a great idea. Then I can put like a perch in the center, and then right there, that's where the Owl Lord sits. And then maybe in each corner you can have maybe a different pool or something that leads to each of the different afterlives that exists, or maybe a different judge that judges types of souls, whatever it is you want. And then maybe this right here, this chamber right here, can be where the priestly orders, nuns, whatever, clergy, whatever kind of group you want to use to put in there. So it's kind of helpful to, again, do your pre-development first, and that way that kind of helps you to start putting the walls together, start putting the rooms together, and that's always helpful. So, because the hardest part for me has always been just getting started, and by doing some pre-development, some forethought into what I want to make really, really, really helps. So I think this right here, this kind of works just fine. This is a nice little kind of guide. You might want to change it. It depends, because I might want to include landscape. It just depends on when to add an exterior, is if the exterior is usable for your players. So if there's maybe a graveyard outside of the temple, that the players go from inside the temple to the graveyard, because we are creating a temple for the transporter of souls, maybe we want to put a staircase leading down to like an arched graveyard, and then that's where maybe this transporter picks up these souls at. So it's really the general idea. I hope it makes sense. I'll put it here up in this corner. All right, I'll just put it there for now. I'm also going to go ahead and change my background for now to a different color. Blue is kind of confusing. It looks like it's water and I don't want that. So I'm just going to change that by just filling the whole screen up like this and just press enter. And that way my whole screen is this brownish color instead. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and rename this to guide. Okay. Now, once you've figured out the general shape, you also might want to consider the landscape, right? So now that I have that, I can kind of maybe get this real big and use it as a guide. And then from there, build the landscape around it. So if we want, this looks like an entrance that leads to the front. We can also put something in the back. And maybe this is where the graveyard will be. Or we can rotate it and have it be this angle instead. Now, me personally, I kind of want the graveyard to look like an arch shape, like this. And then a staircase goes down to it. And we'll have graves going along a path in this arched path right here. And then the paths might lead into the temple. And then I also want to create some kind of a door or something so that the Owl Lord can get into it and then go and pick up these souls. And I'm sure that maybe there are other graveyards that the Owl Lord visits, but for now, one graveyard is enough. Okay, let's keep going here. All right. Now I've got that. It's been grouped. I've labeled it. That's where I'm going to have my graveyard. Now, if things aren't to the size that you want to add more, you can always go with the resize feature. I always use it straight from the grid. So I go to resize map. First, I'll have to save. It'll always force you to save before you do a resize. So I'll just save right away. I'm just going to call this Owl Lord. Oopsie, it's all in caps. That's super important dude, I guess. Owl Lord Temple. So now we'll let it save. Boom. Who are you? Okay, there we go. Now that it's saved, we can resize it. I do want some room because I want an entranceway leading to maybe something in the front, or maybe the whole graveyard goes around it. So maybe in the center of the graveyard is this temple. So if that's the case, I might want to center it more. So I'll just bring the size, make it a little bit bigger, and you'll notice that the dimensions are right there as you're holding on to the bar. And you can also find the options up here. This is your positioning where it says top and left, and this is your width and height, okay? So I'm just going to confirm it, and what it will do is it will make a clone of the map. So I'll continue, save and proceed, and it's going to create a whole new map. It's going to clone it basically, so the original is saved. We'll let it load, and it should open in the same resolution that I'm aware of. There we go. So you'll see that it's still in 3K. Perfect. We're going to go back in and use that same color we used. Just make sure that the whole canvas is covered in the texture that I want. Perfect. And then I can kind of rescale this. Oops, I missed a spot right there. Whoop. I accidentally added some stuff there. So let me just subtract that. Whoopsie. How'd you get there? Not a you. Sneaky, sneaky. Okay. There we go. Now that I've done that, I've added on the guide. One thing I can do is drop the opacity. I'm going to drop the opacity way down and kind of use it as a guide to follow. And it doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. You don't have to make it exactly to whatever the guide is. Change it up as necessary. It's totally up to you. Hey, Dragon Dreams and Squirrels. Glad that you are here. Okay. Now, once I've done that, I try to bring it down to the lowest layer, -5, because it is a guide. And then, of course, I like to lock it. So now I won't accidentally select it. Now I can go into my catalog and I can start figuring out either the landscape or I can work on the building itself. Now, normally I like to start with landscape, but you don't have to. Sometimes the building might be more interesting. So it's always okay to change the order in which you do things. Find the flow that works best for you and don't follow my advice to the T. You will find your own kind of creative energy and your own techniques and your own process that's going to help you, because everyone learns and does things differently. So no pressure on that. So if you want to start with landscape, you can. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. So that's entirely up to you. All right, so we'll go back into fantasy battle maps, or I'm sorry, watercolor battle maps. I don't think I got enough sleep last night. And I'll go in and go into the temple here. I'm going to turn off the titles and expand all and look at our options. Now we can choose what our color scheme is. I kind of feel like gold is kind of regal, maybe a sun temple. So I kind of feel like a temple that's kind of dedicated to an owl lord should be something a little bit more gloomy, a little bit more gray. There is skull walls. Those are, I think, meant for crypts. So we can incorporate that wall as well as other walls. And I just want to mention that this owl is not malicious. Their sacred charge is just to transport souls. So I'm not trying to give a sense of maliciousness about the location. I mean, it is scary that it's a graveyard, but this owl lord is not necessarily a villain. They're just following their sacred charge of transporting. I guess if you as your players want to, challenge it to the death or try to attack it, it will probably defend itself. But overall, I'm not trying to create a owl lord that is malicious in its intention. It's pretty neutral overall. Okay, so we have to choose some walls that we want. And for now, we have to piece walls together because we don't have a room tool yet. But hey, maybe that's something we have in mind. Who knows, right? Like Anubis. Right. Okay, so I think I'll stick with maybe a mix between these grayish walls right here, this marble wall, and then mix it with this wall right here, this crypt wall. So that way it still has that feeling of the undead or the dead, and yet it's meant to be completely creepy. So I can start with just piecing together walls, and I know this is time consuming, but hey, it happens. I'm going to stick with 100 size for now, and normally what I do first is just make one corner. Now see how this is a symmetrical this is a symmetrical build. This building, the center building, not this one over here, but this one, it's symmetrical. So the beauty of this is you don't have to wall up the whole thing. You just need to do one corner first. So let's just make one whole corner. I'm going to piece these together, and I'll start, oopsie, let's go this way, and we're going to go through the various pieces. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you go off a little bit. So let me just go over these pieces real quick. I'm going to start making my corners. Oopsie, wrong one. We'll switch over. There you are. Rules. There we go. And actually, I can just copy and paste this one again. Copy, paste. There we go. Oopsie. There you have it. Okay. We're almost there. So we've done that piece. Let's go ahead and add in the last pieces. We're going to create the whole thing. Let's go with this right here. I think that looks fine. And then we'll have to continue to go back inward like this. Okay. Thanks for bearing with. It is time consuming. I totally understand. And I might have to move things around to make sure that they are set up right. Okay, copy, paste. Just do it twice, copy, paste. There we go. Okay, so one corner is complete, right? So now that you've done that, you can go in, copy, paste, flip, rotate. That angle, that one's done, okay? So now that one's done. Now I can go in and copy and paste the whole thing again. Copy, paste, flip, and rotate. Flip, rotate. Let's just flip and rotate a little bit more. There we go. And then just connect these pieces. And now the main structure is pretty much done right there. So you have the outer wall. Boom, perfect, right? Sweet. Didn't take too long, just took a couple minutes. With that copy and paste, that's really the best technique that I know of until we add maybe a room tool. So for now, copy and paste, rotate. Symmetrical buildings, of course, are easier because you just have to copy and paste. With asymmetrical buildings, it's just going to take a little bit more time, and that's okay. Yes, absolutely. Big time saver. So now that we've done that, we also want to create our entrance. So I might want to delete these two right here And now I want to continue building on. So I'll go back and continue adding. So I'll add these shapes to it. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. And I'm not, again, you don't have to follow the main shape. It's okay. Go outside of the main shape if you want. Actually, it looks a lot more interesting when you kind of go off a little bit, experiment, try different things, have fun. Okay, so we'll add that one. We'll add this one. We're going to keep going, adding more and more to it. And I definitely want to add a staircase, I think, obviously leading up into it. There we go. Put these two across. And let's put one long one right here for now, and then we can kind of figure out the rest in just a moment. You have to do some lining up walls. It's a little time consuming. Go down one this way. Let me just take a step back. All right, that looks good so far. Yep, I like the general shape. Now, if you want it to be bigger, you totally can. You can just increase it up in size if you feel like you want it to be a little bit bigger. That's the beauty of it. Once you put it together, now you can start to rotate it, flip it around. Now, obviously, when you're working with a VTT and with a grid, your VTT might need an option to rotate the grid. If there's not a built-in grid in your VTT and it's allowed to rotate, then I don't recommend rotating with these odd random angles. So keep it flush with the canvas, and if your VTT can support that, then it's okay to rotate, because sometimes you're just, for an artist, when you're thinking about adding your grid, it's very utility, right? When you're making your structure. If it's like this, a grid is really easy to put on, right? If you're going at this angle, it might look more aesthetically pleasing, more interesting to the eye, but for utility purposes, it might not be as useful. So you might want to factor that stuff in. Again, it'll look way more interesting if it's at this angle, but not necessarily utility or function when it comes to your grid. So just kind of factor that in. Now that I've done that, I can pretty much delete my guide. I kind of feel like I got the general idea down. The first shape is down. Now I don't need it anymore. Now that I have the main structure, I can add on extensions, little shrines on the side, a rectory, whatever it is. There's all these different things that temples have. And again, it's the theme that will decide its function. And then once you've decided the function, its form will become more clear to you. So I always like to, again, start with function, utility, and then move over to form, because the two will complement each other, trust me, as you go. But you got to start somewhere. Okay, now that we've got that main structure, we can maybe add some extensions to it, and then we can add all the different entrances and stuff like that. So if you don't want a symmetrical and you want to add in maybe a side rectory, again, the rectory is where like your priests live, you might want to create an extension. So we'll go in and I'll create, just use some shorter walls. Let's see here. I think we'll go with this one right here. It's just fine. One here and one right here. Okay. And then from there I can go in and add in, start creating the outer shape. It's going to lead to basically a rectory. And I might even want to say that there's possibly a dome or something over to the side. We'll see. So we'll just keep creating and see what we come up with. I do think that we could make a geometrical shape. That might be interesting, so let's do that. So I'm just going to make one side first, and then I'll build the next side after that. So let's do this. One there, and we're just going to build, let's see, let me check for this. There we go. Okay, now that I've done that, I can add in this one. Copy, paste, delete this one. There we go. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I can do it this way. Just copy and paste this. Copy, paste this way. Okay, one there, and then another one. I'm trying to remember how this works here. Oops, not that one. There we go. Just takes a little bit of patience. Okay, there we go. Now that I put that together, copy, paste it real quick. Delete that and add this one. let's see here. I do want to make sure that I get the size right, so I'm going to add this other side so that way I can line them up. Oh yeah, wall building, time consuming, blah 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 blah. There we go. Okay, and I'm not even sure if this will be big enough. We'll think about scale once we get to the interior. I mean, I've already factored in scale a little bit. This is the size of the walls, so scale is something that for me, I just stick with the general same size. So if all these stamps are 111, then I'll try to keep all the other stamps around 100 to 111. Okay, so scale, I mean, you can establish it right away by just sticking with relatively the same numbers. You can change stamps as you see fit though. Just be careful. Like obviously you don't want a chest to be so massive or a or a treasure chest to be so freaking massive that it's the size of, you know, a 10-foot doorway. Okay, so just kind of factor that in, and we'll go more into scale as we go, so don't worry, we'll go with that. Okay, so now I've kind of created this rectory over here, and now this can be used as a place for maybe priests to live, or maybe it's where the owl gets some food. I don't even know. Does this owl lord eat? You know, what is it that they do? I don't really know. Okay, so now once you've made the overall shape and you're satisfied with it, if you want to add extra extensions to it, go for it. It's up to you. Once you've added that in, then you want to pick very clearly where you want it. Once you've decided it, that's fine. I'm just going to group this and just call it outer wall. First step, and I'm going to also just lock it for now. So that way I don't accidentally select it when I'm working with it. And now I'm going to go with the mask tool and start making the interior. So I'm just going to turn off all mask effects. I don't need them. I'm going to turn them off for now. I'm going to go in and just fill in the large shape first, like this, and just press enter and fill it in. We'll fill in the whole thing. And this is going to allow us to paint the interior and the exterior separately, because it's a pain in the rear when you're trying to paint outside and you accidentally paint the interior. It's like, ah, shoot, I didn't want to do that. Well, that is what this is for. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in. These are an odd shape, so I'll just fill it in with a regular circle brush. I'm not going to sit there and try to rotate and fix it the entire time, so this instead just works fine. So I'll fill this in. Boom, filling it in. Whee! Okay, there we go. Oh, some shape there I missed. And right here as well. There we go. Now your interior should be painted separately. I'm going to subtract, remove this right here. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, that looks fine. Now we're going to want to choose a texture for the FG. So what I'll do is I'll just go in and just go to textures, and I'll type in temple textures, so all the temple textures are available. So these are some nice temple textures that we have, and we have to again factor in the theme. So I'm going to look at my walls, and I have these kind of grayish walls, and I don't know if all of these will work. Maybe we can do a broken one. This is broken dark marble tile, and I might want to scale it and change the size just depending how big it is. Now if you're intending to use the actual grid spaces that are on this texture, then you're going to want to actually factor in how big. So if this is going to be 5 by 5 feet, then you want to factor that in. If you don't want to have a contradicting grid to the tile, then don't use a texture that has a tile in it, or scale it to where maybe 4 tiles equals a grid, okay? Or 6 tiles equals 5 by 5 feet. Up to you how you want to scale it, okay? I'm going to apply it first just to see how it looks like, what it looks like. I've already sized it just a hair. Oopsie, I want my interior. What am I doing? Now, if this is 5 by 5 feet, if we're sticking to that notion, then this temple is absolutely freaking massive. It is huge. A very, very big temple. And again, we don't have to stick with it. We don't have to use this. But for now, I think it's a good start. We'll stick with it for now. I'm gonna change the layer shadows as well. In scene settings, you'll see there's these layer shadows, and right now they're kind of moved. See what happens when I change the layer shadows? You'll notice that all the stamps that are designated as layer shadows will be affected by this. So I'm just gonna go to 0. I want them all centered. So I'll type in 0. I got the blur shadow. I'm gonna go all the way up, make it very dark, and make it pop out like this. And what I'm doing is basically creating a little bit of ambient occlusion or a little bit of shadow along the edge to make it pop out a little bit. If it's not satisfying, you can always bring the shadow closer in like this, and you'll see there's still a dark black outline. That black outline is what helps to make the wall pop. Now you'll also notice that it's still hard to distinguish some of the floor from the wall, and one of the reasons why is because they're around the same brightness. Now this actually happens a lot when you want to make a clear distinction between wall and floor. You're going to use contrast. That means you're going to either have light walls and a dark floor, or dark walls and a light floor. Me personally, I generally like to use a darker floor to make the walls pop out more. So we'll go into filters, use the exact same texture I just had, and I'm going to drop the brightness down just a little bit. Let's say 71, and I'll apply the texture again, and we'll see what that does to the walls. Yeah, you see the whiteness in the walls pops out a little bit more. Okay, and we'll add even more shadowing too to make it pop out later. We don't have to do the shadowing right now. I think for now this is okay, and we'll keep working. Does a new temple pack have new textures too? Absolutely, 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 Mr. Your Majesty. Of course there is. Now once you've applied your ground texture, I'm going to go ahead and quickly save. I'm at 136 changes. Don't forget, this is a clone from a resize, so it'll have you type in have you save in the title name again. So I'll save it first. I generally save about 100 changes. Sometimes it's unavoidable. You're making a forest. You have 1,000 trees. Of course, that's 1,000 changes. That's okay. Though I would absolutely try to save after you've put down a giant forest. I know you asked that question right as I'm using textures. Okay, so now we've done that. Now we've built that shape, and we've built in the texture that we want, and we're going to change it. This is just the texture that I'm using for now. In a temple, different spaces, different flooring might be different. One section might have carpet and tile, another one might be marble, another section might be concrete, another section might be plain stone. So there's different types of flooring inside of different sections. And to show a different section within a building, like let's say that you want the sacristy, which is where inside of a cathedral, that's where the whole church ceremony, the whole priest stands on this sanctuary, whatever stuff, and that's pretty much where the whole church service takes place. And so maybe you want that area to be different, just like you might want a shrine that's hidden away on the side to be made of a different type of material. Okay, and normally the more you want, if there's a certain room that you want to be the centerpiece of your structure, then maybe beef up the flooring a little bit, make it a really nice clean flooring, add some details, some shrubbery, those things to distinguish how important a room is to other rooms. Okay, I'm going to start making some of the interior walls, and I want to mention something about that. Your exterior walls are generally going to be a little bit thicker than your interior walls, unless it's a part of a wall that's structurally important to make it stand out, to make it structurally, to give it more structural integrity. Okay, so now the taller the building is, the more structural integrity, the thicker the walls will be to hold up if there's another floor, a second floor, a third floor. Okay, so if you want to distinguish that there are multiple floors, then you might want to make your walls thicker. Okay, now if there's only a certain section in the temple that has a second floor or is higher up, there's maybe no floor, maybe it's a vaulted dome, like we're going to have in this one, then you might want to have the same thickness be on the walls as you want to have be on the dome section, okay? Absolutely. Oh, yeah, good one. Good one. Good point. Okay. So I want to create a dome in the center, okay? And maybe use some pillars that represent the dome, because I don't want, obviously it's going to be really hard to actually show the dome because it's a part of the ceiling, and you don't see the ceiling in a top down. So instead, what I'll do is I'll create the pillars of a dome, and then maybe I can use lighting to suggest that there is a dome with some maybe glass at the top with light going down, okay? So first we have to pick some pillars that we want to represent the pillars that are holding up this giant dome. So there's a couple pillars right here. There's some marble pillars, and you can kind of pick one that looks good for you. I kind of feel like I like this first one right here, and I'm going to use it. From there, I am going to make a circle as well to represent the dome, so that way that my my pillars are lined up properly. So I'm going to take two of these and create a circle with it, like this. Copy and paste the two. Copy, paste, rotate it, and put them together. Now I'm going to delete this. I'm not going to end up keeping it, by the way. I'm just using it as a guide to figure out where my dome is. So I'm going to put it, I'm going to try to center it the best that I can. And since there's already a grid and I've already lined it up to where it's almost centered, you can use that grid, or you can just turn on your grid. It's up to you, But I'm going to use this grid that's already set up as kind of a guide to try to find out where the center is. I think right about there looks fine. Oopsie. I'm going to select it all. I'm going to group it, and I'm going to bring the opacity down and bring it down a layer. And again, it's just a guide. I'll end up deleting it in the end. Okay, now I have my pillars. And I'm going to scale them down just a hair because I kind of want to leave a lot of room. And I'll start with maybe the cardinal directions first. Now, if you don't want a pillar right in the center when you're viewing it, you can move them to an angle over here instead. And you can make you can make a box. And I'm going to use the grid as a guide, because now this way, when you first walk into the temple, a pillar is not blocking the view of this center pedestal with a dome right here. So it kind of helps a little bit, right? So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I line these up properly to where I want them. Okay, I think that looks fine. We can add in a couple more. Maybe one here, and one right here. There we go. Okay. So now we have a representation of that dome, and I can delete now those circles. Or actually, I'm going to keep it again because I think I might actually do something fun here. I think I might actually use this as a different texture. So directly below the dome, I'm going to use an entirely different texture. So that way it will distinguish that. So I might want to go in and maybe use this light marble tile. I could use a red one if I wanted to. I could use the non-broken tile. I can use just regular tile, or I can use these decorations. It's up to you how you want to go about it. We can experiment and maybe try some different ones just to see how it looks. So let's maybe go with this lighter one right here. I'll go with a circle shape. I'll go to my max size. It looks like it needs to be a little bit bigger, so instead I will use my circle brush. And I'm going to make it probably cover up go over the entire thing. So let me just do this real quick. Yeah, I do like the redder one as well. Maybe we'll choose that one instead. So this section right here will be tile. Let's do the red one instead. Good call. Let's do it. Now, first I'll have to change the size, and I want to make sure that I line it up well enough. So, and I can even make it bigger if I want to, change it, the size, whatever I want, rotation. There's all these different options. I can change the offsets. It's up to you. So, how you want to go about doing it. I'm going to go with this. And for now, I'm just going to see what that looks like when I apply it. So I'll press enter, make sure it's set to that FG layer. And now I've applied that texture to it. And now I can delete that centerpiece. Okay, so now I have a distinction. There's a red one there, and we can change it as we want. So this is just a start. Maybe we want to line it with some staircases leading up to it, up to you, how we want to go about that. Personally, I think the temple should be rather open. I'm going to delete that pillar because I want my owl to be able to fly in and land right here in the center, which is their perch. That's the center. That's where the perch is going to be. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and save. 32 changes, not that many, but I'm going to save real quick. Whew, here we go. Yeah, making temples is fun. Ooh, getting warm in here. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I do believe there's a whole crazy amount of staircases that are in the style, so we might want to go over those. Let's go ahead and take a look what we want to do here. You know, I kind of did like that circle shape. That was actually kind of nice. Maybe I'll undo that real quick. I kind of did like this a little bit, so maybe I can actually use this to my advantage. I'll turn the opacity off, I think. Make sure it's set a down layer. The line work is incredibly thick though, so I'm not so sure if that will work. Might have to change the blend mode. We can maybe try, play with it. If not, then it might not work. So we'll play around real quick. Yeah, it still shows that dark, thin, that really dark, thick line work, which I don't care for. This one, let's go change brightness. Might have to do a lot of changes to kind of get what you're looking for. Sometimes, unfortunate, but it's the way it goes. There's luminosity, color. Oopsie, I made that brightness way too much. There we go. You know, I don't think any of these are going to work. I think it's just the line work is just too thick. You see how the difference between the line work on this wall and the line work on this, it's just so incredibly thick. I could hide it with staircases or use a different stamp. I think we need to get platforms. That would just be ridiculously helpful, but hey, that's just me. Oh yeah, arches between the pillars. Yep, that's a great idea. I absolutely love that. I will not disagree with that. Okay, well, I do think that we do need to put some stamps around here because I just think that would be nice. It doesn't really make any sense to not have some kind of lip or something that kind of goes up onto a dais where this thing is. I'm not so sure. We might delete this. So for now, I'll just add some staircases or look for other stamps that might work. Let me take a look here what our options are. Ooh, yeah, fun stuff trying to come up with this. Oh, you know what? Hey. Well, there are some options here. I might want to maybe add in this giant kind of thing right here. If I'm going to go with that thick line work, then maybe I can play with that a little bit. Let me go and change the luminosity here. And let me change the brightness. Okay, let me think here. We can change the blend mode too. I'm not sure if I like the tile underneath, but we'll play with things. This is the best part, is kind of exploring and trying new things and really playing with it. I love that kind of stuff. Okay, oopsie, let's bring the contrast up. There we go. Maybe that's a bit better. And we might want to consider continuing changing the blend mode. Always tons of different options. That's the beauty of this. We're going to try to create a design on the floor that's a bit different. There we go, go with that. And then I can maybe change this. And I'm going to remove the tile part in the center. And so I'm just going to choose a texture that doesn't have any tiling in it. So I'll go and just change my textures. Let's just go with this reddish color right here. And I'm just going to fill it in like this. Oopsie, let's go with this one. There we go. This will help to kind of really distinguish the difference in the floor. So now this is obviously a very different section than this bottom part right here. And we'll throw in a heck of a lot more texturing. But now this kind of creates an interesting floor design that has the same kind of line thickness. And so we'll have to do more things to make it work out properly. So there's a lot of work to do still. It's just a floor design. Yes, absolutely. I agree with the let's do that arch idea. I love that idea, by the way. And I can throw in some arches. So there should be some arches in here. I'm not sure which one I want to use. Lots of different options here. Let's just go through it. Oh yeah, there's the gold arches. Oh, here we go. Let's try these ones first. And now this part to me might be difficult to pull off. Again, you have these thicker line work. Oopsie, we'll change the opacity as well. My bad. There we go. And so I don't know if this will work. We can try it out. It never hurts to give things a shot, to try it just to see how it looks. And there are ways to kind of fix line work issues that might happen by just putting in a heck of a lot more textures, using some filters. It doesn't always work, so you just kind of have to work with the art. Let's put that together. So some arches right here, and I think you could even put some longer ones, some bigger ones in here as well, maybe. Let's take a look. I could put a larger one right here. Let's see if it'll even work first. I don't know. We'll find out. The issue that I generally have with arches is that you can't really, in a VTT, okay, I don't know if you can do this or not, but you can make it to where you're underneath the arch. So when you're playing with your characters, the arch, I don't know, I haven't looked at VTTs lately, but is there a way to where your player is going underneath the arch instead of on top of it? Because that can look kind of weird. I'm not sure. So I try to avoid arches in main areas in the center so players don't have to walk over them, but for the sake of aesthetics, we could add this. Again, I don't know how the VTT works, but we have some nice arches now right here, and there's this grand arch in the front and each side, because we do want room for our owl to walk or fly into the perch area, and we also want people's line of sight to be able to see into it so they can see the grandeur of the Owl Lord. So that's kind of important. Yeah, we're doing it. Cool. Yeah, honestly, I think this is okay. This kind of works pretty well to me, as long as I can see all the pillars. And of course, I might want to consider adding in, a light source later, and I have to create a perch. Let's go ahead and look at what we want to work on next. If you ever get bored or tired, because this happens a lot when you're working on a map, sometimes you might underestimate how long something takes, or you're not satisfied with it. The great way to keep yourself motivated on the map is to go to a different section. So if you feel like, I'm kind of stumped, I don't know what to do further with the interior, there are all these different things that you can do to help you with that. You can decide to maybe move out to the exterior. And of course, as you're working on the exterior, trust me, inspiration and ideas for the interior will flow, because as you're making the exterior, it's all going to be related to the overall composition, and that will help you when you want to figure out, like, well, I'm stuck on the interior, now I'll work on the interior, so I'm going to go with the exterior. So let's do that real quick, just to kind of take a break for those who want to see different things. So we'll go to the outer wall, and I'm going to open it up, and because that's how I access these walls, and I want to make a entrance, or that I made just like this one right here, I want to make one over here to where the graveyard is. So first I'll want to put some stuff together. Let's see here. We might maybe want to do something a bit more interesting for the back side. So maybe I can piece these together to make an interesting kind of shape in the back. Again, that's the beauty of using, using the stamps. You can change up the shape. So if I want, I can have like maybe, well, I may make it a little bit thicker than that, because my Owl Lord might be bigger than that. I'm not even sure how big our Owl Lord is yet. Is he a big fella? We don't know. Wings flight spell, cool. Hey, thanks, King. Appreciate that explanation. Let's do some exterior. So I'll go ahead and piece together these stamps right. Oopsie, that's the wrong one. Naughty. I'm trying to keep the somewhat of this wall being on the outside, even though technically I think it would probably be the other way, but it's okay either way. It's up to you how you want to go about that. But Let's go ahead and piece these together, and then we'll create our kind of entrance going out. And I don't know if it is perfectly centered or not. It doesn't kind of look like it. Let me put down a stamp just to verify that. Just make sure the distance is correct. Yeah, see, huge difference. I see right away that there's a huge gap in between here and here. So I'm going to flip and rotate this stamp. Sometimes this happens, so I'm going to push this in a little bit more just to give it the space that I need to kind of make it a little bit more equidistant to each other. There we go. I think that looks about right. It's okay if it's off by just a hair. Again, the grid will always help you with lining things up, but this looks pretty close. Distance, maybe one's off by just a couple pixels. Who knows? Okay, now that I've kind of created that part, now I can go in again, and I might want to select all of these as well and kind of call this group, call this one the dome. There we go. Where are we at with time? 1 hour. Ooh, boy, that took a little while, didn't it? Hey, Lily. I am glad that you're here. All right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and just do maybe some staircases leading out to the exterior where our graveyard's going to be. So I'll type in stairs, and a whole bunch of stairs are going to pop up. Look at all these different stair options. Super, super nice. Let me take a look at my shape here. I think just stairs going straight across or creating a circular staircase that goes down might work. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we got some reddish looking stairs here. Is there a gray one? Let me check. Oh, I don't see gray ones. Let's go ahead and just drop the saturation to make it gray. And I'll bring the brightness down. I want to kind of match somewhat the gray here. I'm going to bring it down a layer. See if I can do this right. And I want to, again, think about the staircase. How big are my players? Are they absolutely massive? So if this is 5 by 5 feet, I want to make sure these stairs aren't ridiculously massive. Yep, they're pretty huge. So let's bring down the size. And instead, we'll do this. I'm going to copy, paste, put another one there. Okay. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Let's bring it all the way to the edge. Like this, and I'm going to add one more stair to fill in that gap right there, or you can put in a piece of railing, whatever, up to you, but I'm going to stick with just regular stairs. So 1 second, I'll go all the way up, grab this one, and I'll place it down right here like this. Oopsie, let's go down right here. There we go. Next step, if you don't know about the lighten trick, super cool, put this down right here like this, select it, go to lighten, and you should be able to remove the line work. So, and if you want, you can bring the brightness down a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now you have that shape. I'm going to go ahead and group. Now I have that staircase there leading outward into the graveyard. Might have to do some resizing. I think I'll have to resize the canvas again. Resizing might go through several drafts. That happens, and that's fine. So this staircase right here will lead out to the graveyard. I'll go ahead and apply that texture I was using. Fill in this space right here. I'm going to have to use the FG though first. So I'll have to fill it in with the add mode of the mask tool. So fill this in. Oh, looks like the whole thing's already got it on there. Perfect. There we go. There we go. All right. I think that works just fine. Okay, so now we have a staircase leading out. This is a very odd shaped temple, isn't it? This is strange. What weird temple is this? Okay, now that we've done that, we want to create a path that kind of leads out to a graveyard. So I'll just use a path tool to kind of create that. Hey, it's a path, so I'm using the path tool. So hey, it works, right? I know I'm a naughty person because I use the path tool for so many things besides just paths. But hey, one thing to my credit, I do use them for paths. It's just way more than just paths. Okay, so flow of traffic, stair goes out, and we'll put a kind of a curved kind of path that maybe goes like this. And all that's going to be a graveyard. And of course, there's a path to go here. Once you move on, though, into the interior, I do want to recommend that you use paths to show what's called flow of traffic. So that way you kind of know how people walk around. So they can walk all around in here like this. There's a staircase that leads up to allows you to go into here, another staircase that goes down to here. It's called flow of traffic. And sometimes I leave these lines up so that when I'm putting down more stamps, I don't accidentally obfuscate the ability for players to walk around. Some obstacles are great, especially in a combat situation. Like if there's a random pillar, then you can place it there and then you can hide behind it so that way you won't get hit with a projectile weapon or you can sneak up behind a combatant and attack them that way. So think about flow of traffic when you're putting together your maps. It's not just interiors, all of them really, but I always factor in flow of traffic because sometimes I'll accidentally put a giant barrel somewhere that, you know, really gets in the way of my character's flow or my player's flow. So factor that in. I'm not going to worry about putting the path there, but it's just a general idea to give me where my stuff is. So next I'll want to go in and maybe decide that I want to decorate that exit or entrance with some statues because, hey, you know what? What really defines a temple to me is its iconography, right? So if it's an owl god, maybe there's some guardians. There's some wings right here, so that kind of works well, right? So I'll boost it up to 100, and maybe I want to put my statues up against the wall right here, like this, on the outside. Let's bring it up a layer. It's okay if it kind of goes over the wall. That doesn't really bother me. So you can line up statues along your walls like this. You can put them in the center. You can put them like this if you want to, have them facing inward. Let's go ahead and rotate them again real quick. See, whoa, that was fun. I don't know what happened right there. I can put my statues right up against here, so where the wings are lining up against the staircase. So lots of different options on where you want to put statues. Maybe you want to put some more, maybe like a platform where the platform leads outward. So if you're going to make a platform, then maybe you want to create, let's see, how would I put this? These platforms, yeah, I'll just show you. Yeah, I'm not confusing myself or anything. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to make a platform, and I'll show you how I go about making platforms. And platforms are what I use. I know this is technically staircase railing, but honestly, this stuff works just fine for making platforms, at least what I've used it for in the past. So this platform, the platform that I'm making is just a place for the statues to rest upon. So I'm going to make sure it's down a layer like this, and then I'm going to place these together. Let me put another one right here if I can. Is there a smaller one? Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Okay. Now I can piece these together like this. Okay. I'm going to copy and paste. Now what these platforms are is it's just a base for statues to rest upon. That's all that I'm creating right here is a base for statues to rest upon. That's it. So now I can go in and I can put my statues down. I had those wingy ones. And now I can place a statue down like that. And of course, it is sitting on top of the platform or base like it should be. And that gives it a little bit more character because, hey, if it's just standing there by itself without a base, it looks kind of weird, right? So we've added in some statues there and an entrance or / exit. There's one here as well. We'll continue that on as we go. Don't you worry. Sweet for the ambiance. Spooky. Will you add some spookiness, clouds and mist? Lily Rose, you speak truth. Speak a truth. Yes, I agree with you. Let's do it. Heck yeah, can't say no, right, to adding all the spooky stuff. This might even be a two-parter, because with all this pre-planning, it does take a little bit longer. Well, I mean, pre-planning can speed things up, but since I'm doing a stream, and I'm kind of distracted with answering questions and explaining things, it takes a little bit longer. Okay, we've got the platform there, and let's see here. Let me take a zoom out. Always nice to zoom out and to take a look and see how things look. We might want to consider adding more of these kind of platforms along maybe this ledge here, along here and here. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and save at 98 changes. If people have any questions, feel free to ask, or suggestions. If you have suggestions, speak up. Believe me, I take suggestions. Except from His Majesty, Royal Snob. Won't take it from you, sir. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, my liege. Oh, forgive me my trespassing. Okay. There we go. All right. Yeah. All right. It's been saved. We can go ahead and keep going. Sweet. Yeah, temples are fun. Okay. Now we do want to create Maddie being Maddie. Yes, that is me. Okay. I've saved it. You know, I think I am going to resize it. So now I'm going to have 3 variations of this map. I love it. So I'll increase this because I want the backside to have that graveyard. So it's time to scale, to resize it, make it a little bit bigger. No one takes clowns seriously. Will you stop clowning around? All right, we'll confirm. We're going to save and proceed. Now I've technically got 3 variations of this map now, and that's perfectly okay. So resize as need be. There's no need to change every stamp, rescale it, resize everything. Nah, don't do that. Just go right ahead and resize the whole canvas. It'll be a lot easier for you, believe me. Okay, we want to paint this one as well right here. I've got that extra space. So some things that I might want to do is that I want to create kind of a road. I should use my paths really for that. Actually, I'm gonna have to put them there after all. I wanted just a path that kind of goes, like I said, in this kind of arch like this, and the path leads to the arch. Maybe I can put like a fountain here or something like that, and then where the path goes around the fountain creates maybe like an eye. That would be kind of interesting, like an eye shape like this, and then have paths that maybe lead into the rectory, and then maybe a path that leads into something that might be out here. Like you could have a garden out here with a series of bushes, a hedge maze, always so many different options that you can choose from. That's the beauty of it. So I've created, so yeah, we'll put maybe a hedge maze or some hedges out here. We'll make sure to put maybe a path that goes this way like this, and maybe some lanterns that light the path kind of leading inward. Maybe we want to have another path. Maybe this is where the crossroads are, that will take you over and connect you to here and connect you to right here. Okay, so lots of different options to choose from. I'm going to keep these paths this time. I was stupid and deleted them. No, I actually want to keep them this time. I'm going to select paths only. Wait, one thing I can do is just type in path, select all, group. It'll set it down to the lowest layer for now. And of course, I'm going to label the group once I find it. Paths. There we go. Sweet. Awesome. We're still doing it. Okay. So now I have that. So now I have something to work with. Now I want to add in my fountain. So I'll go into Watercolor Battlemaps, type in fountain. There we go. Now I have a fountain. Okay, now let me look at the scale, the size. Oops, I just noticed right here that there's some texture issues right there. I'll have to fix that later. First, let's get our fountain worked out. I think about that size looks about right. Could be a little bit bigger, up to you. Put it right here. And I also want to maybe put some shrubbery going around it as well. So let's go ahead now, and I'm going to bring the opacity down of my paths because they are rather overwhelming. By dropping the opacity down, it's not so much interfering. Well, 0 doesn't help at all, but there we go. Okay, there we go. I still want to be able to see it. Yeah, add Gothic roses. Ooh, won't say no to that. Let's put down some texturing for my path real quick, so that way I can start to figure out where I'm going to have little side routes that are going to go off, how I'm going to maybe, where I'm going to put the graves at, the gravestones, where I'm going to put maybe a mausoleum, where I'm going to put all those things, okay? So first I want to pick a texture. And there's a lot of varying options that you can go with. Some of these alpha textures work great. There's this dark dungeon floor right here. This one might work. There's this dungeon floor alpha right here. Now, whenever you're going to apply an alpha, just be sure that the texture underneath works with it. So let me first apply this alpha texture so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So when I apply this, you'll notice that it retains the texture underneath, right? So if I apply this texture to the B, to the FG, look inside here, you'll see that I can see the texture underneath it. Alphas have transparency. So make sure that whatever texture underneath, it contrasts against the texture, the alpha texture. So you want a dark texture underneath to make the lighter textures, the lighter stonework pop out more. So one way we can do that is just to go and just change our BG texture again, and each area might be different. So maybe I want, let's just go with the whole thing for now. BG, go across the whole thing, and I'm going to change the brightness. I'll bring it down to a little bit darker. Let's just apply once to the BG to see how it looks. I think that looks just fine. And then from there, I can apply this texture. Now I might have to do some changing. I might want to change the size, of course. And I'm going to change the opacity as well. Because sometimes when I'm working with alpha textures, I want maybe a section of it to look like kind of it's faded away, and some sections are very strong. So changing the opacity is really helpful. I'll bring it down to 54 for now. I'm going to apply it and just see how it looks. So just see how it looks when I apply it like this. And I'll make it pop out the most. Actually, I think I'm going to rotate the stones. They look a little too much, so I'll go ahead and undo all of this stuff. I'm going to undo that. Let me go to my history. And let's just go to restore. There we go. And I kind of wanted to rotate, so I made a mistake there. Let's rotate it. There we go. And we'll bring the size down a little bit more. There we go. Now that it's rotated, I can go and throw that back on there. There we go. Much better. Much, much better. There we go. Okay. And I'm also going to create some path that leads to here. Again, this path is not set in stone. We can change textures as we see fit. It's just to give you an idea. If you create the paths, if you create the roads and the trails first, then you can start putting stamps against the road, like where the graves are going to be and all that other stuff. So it's a good starting point. Instead of putting stamps down first and then creating a path that leads to all of it, sometimes I like to put down all the paths first and then I can put the stamps down. So we'll go over like this and kind of just create a path. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to have little strokes that kind of lead up to it. Like this, and we'll change things again as we go. So this is not set in stone. There we go. So now at least I have a little bit to work with, and that's helpful. I can also turn off now my paths because I have created them with textures and I know where to go from there. The stone path is not set in stone. Hey, you got me there, okay? You got me there. It's not set in stone. Whoo! Is somebody stoned or something? What the heck? All right, let's go in. I'm going to fix my mistake right here as well. I kind of boo-booed that. Oopsie. You know, I'm just really good at boo-booing things, I guess. I don't know. What is it with that, huh? Okay, there we go. I'm just going to fix in these sections right here. I don't want that showing. On that, icky. There we go. Okay, much better. There you have it. All right, now it was a talking. Okay, we've added our fountain here. Looks a little bright. Maybe I could change the brightness just a bit. There we go. So nice. Now it's just going to be nothing but stoner references pretty much the rest of the stream. I started something. Puff Puff Batsman. Man, this temple is like totally crazy, dude. Whoa. Man. Should we like hotbox in the dome, dude? Dude, where's my dome? Okay. All right. Now that we've got that humor over with, we can move on to the next part. All right. So let's go ahead and add in some stuff. So yeah, I'm getting into trouble. Yeah, that's how map making goes. Inappropriate noises, some kind of bodily function noises, you know? The raspberries. All right, I'm gonna save it because I'm getting close to 100 changes. And then from here, where are we at? Well, about 50 minutes left in the stream. Yeah, this will probably be a part 2-er. There are no raspberries at some point. Are you even mapping? No, we don't do mapping here. We talk inappropriately and get into trouble here. I mean, and that's the only way to do it, right? Okay, now someone had made a suggestion. I think it was Lily Rose. Let me check here. What are we adding in here? What goodies? Oh, something about Gothic roses? Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, who doesn't make strange noises when they're mapping? You know, like you make a mistake. Do! Oh! Ah! Like you broke a leg or something. Ooh, dang it, I didn't want to do that. Or you do it gamer style where you get really ticked off that something bad happened and you throw your keyboard across the room. You're just like, smash it! It happens. It happens. Okay, let's go look up those Gothic roses real quick. That sounds awesome. You know I'm going to dig them Gothic roses. Let me check it out. Roses, are they in there? Ooh, is it pretty? Yeah, I dig. I'm digging. I'm digging. Okay. So I think I'll line around. So let me go back to 100%. See how big the roses are. Make sure. Yeah, it's fine. Let me just go back. And so I'm going to line around. Let's set to random stamp, random rotate. Perfect. All right. And I want to create sections to where people can walk in. So one thing you can do is just ring the whole thing. And it's set to a single stamp. So what you can do now, let's go fix this real quick. It's set to single. I'm going to go with multiple. There we go. Much easier. And I'm just going to go ahead. Whoa, those are freaking massive. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, no, no, no. That won't do. Tisk, tisk. That will not do. Roses around a fountain with a nice fence. Ooh. Do we even have fences? I don't know. Let's take a look. Do we have the fences? Are you here, fences? I don't know what fence is, but we don't have them. Just letting you know, we don't have fences. we just don't. We don't have them. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Let's play with an idea then. I think I kind of like that idea, so I don't see why not. Might as well. You have the Watercolor City ones. Yep, I have these ones too. These work okay, actually. So, yeah, so you're saying that you want the bushes to be basically on, maybe sitting along the fences, which I think is a great idea. I mean, what am I going to do? Argue with you? No, I hate it. Why would you give me a bad idea like this? Okay, here we go. Oop, oop. Well, I don't know here. I think this is okay. Let's maybe go right here. There we go. And then I can kind of put my rose bushes along the edge, kind of like this. There we go. Ooh, that's a long one. No, we don't want that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oop, oop, oop. There we go. Does it want to? Okay, there we go. So now the rose bushes are kind of hanging out right there. There we go. Yay! Oop, did someone have a question? Yeah, probably. I'm going to agree with that. Someone mentioned dropping the brightness down. I mean, how dare you? Select from the set. Yeah, not a bad idea. I hear and I obey. Yes, master. What shall I do next to the map? Beep, beep, boop, boop. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, that looks okay to me. Let me take a step back. Suddenly I hear a tapping, as though someone gently mapping at my chamber door. Quote the raven, nevermore. Oh yes, indeed, good sir. Welcome. Excellent. This is a poetry jam. I stink at poetry, so if you want to fall asleep, feel free to proceed. I have no gift for rhyme. I mean it. I really don't. Anyone have a peanut? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I've added in that. Now I can start building things that kind of protrude away from that, so I can add in maybe some kind of bushes or trees. So let's type in tree, and there are various types of trees. There's this dead tree, dead. Oh, there's this one. I normally put dead trees in. I normally put dead trees in my graveyard, so maybe I'll just be tropey and do that. And I might have to drop the brightness down a little bit as well. Of course, people tell me, what the heck? The stamps are too bright, you bum. What the heck? Yes, I know. Okay, ooh, one tree there. Maybe I'll bring the size down and put another one over here. There we go. And let's maybe throw in some bushes. I love me my bushes. I'm going to tell you right now, I do. I love bushes. They're fantastic. Let's maybe do a little bit of stuff on here. Drop the saturation down and maybe drop the brightness down. There we go. Kind of maybe match that same green from the rose bush. And I'm just going to take, in the negative spaces, you'll see some negative space here where there's no road. So I'll just change this up. I'm going to add some big ones first. I say this every time like a damn broken record, but hey, always do that changing up your size. If you have some bushes that are big like this, put in some smaller ones because believe me, you want various sizes in your bushes. You really do. You don't want to go with just the same size bush. That's no fun. Come on. Really get it as bushy as possible. Add lots of bushes, okay? All right, now we've added that. Sweet, we got some bushes there, kind of a Christmassy feel. Got some red and green here. Yeah, baby, some holiday spirit. Wait a minute, this is May. This isn't working. Hold on a second here. This is May 5th. Is it the return of the 5th? I think it is. It is return of the 5th. I knew it. Okay, now I've added that. We'll keep going. Doesn't hurt to add in some stumps as well. So I'll throw in some stumps. Boop. And of course, we'll have to drop the brightness down. There we go. We'll throw in some stumps. This is stumpy. It's stumpy, it's lumpy, it's bumpy. We've got it all. Okay, put one over here. There we go. All right, we're getting the exterior done. Where are we at? We're at 54 changes. We're doing fine. Oh, the key, His Majesty pleads the fifth. Monarchs and their special exemptions. Okay, let's take a look. Yep, things are doing just fine. I'm okay with it so far. Let's take a look. Oh yes, it's definitely going to be a two-parter, and that's okay with me. Let's go ahead and add in the graves. I'm going to try to speed this up. I'm Gestump Provs. Hey! And there are no Gestump Provs. I'm so surprised. Why are there not Gestump Provs? What the heck? I'm frustrated by this. I'm not happy. Oh, gravestones. There we go. Got them. Now, they do have gravestones. Phew, thank goodness. I was getting nervous there. Okay, let's go ahead and place a couple. I'm going to go with 70 for now. And what I'd like to do is kind of line them up to where whenever I'm working on a graveyard, I try to put them away from the path, because otherwise, if your stone is right here up against the path, and you're walking all over the body, man. What the heck? What the heck? Where's the respect for the dead, huh? There's none. Push it a little further away so there's room, so that there's room between the body and the path, so you're not just trampling all over someone's grave. Like, I don't like this. I'm gonna pee on their grave. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, hey, even some fallen gravestones. Cool. I like it. Sweet. Maybe put a broken one over here. That's cool. Oh, this is a cool one. I like that. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. So this one cracked and fell down. We can add one over here. Let's see. Keep going through the list. Oh my. Are there any more? There we go. Add one there. Add one here. And I like to add a little bit of stuff on the ground as we go. So we'll add that in as well. First, let's just go ahead and add in our pieces. Oops, I want to be the random. Yeah. There we go. An open grave, maybe? It is a recipe for disaster. Okay, we'll add that one there. Put one here. Let's put all the same ones, more or less, over here. Then do the add one that's kind of different. And you might want to consider making little paths that kind of lead elsewhere, and that kind of helps to make little sections. What kind of temple is this? I don't know. We just turned into, we're making a graveyard, and now we're, is this a graveyard, or is this a temple? You're seriously making me question myself, King. Why would you? Well, yes, I'm putting in the graveyard because our Owl Lord is going to be going into the graveyard to pick up souls. Okay. Ah, putting me on the hot seat, Your Majesty. Ooh, it's so hot in here. It's the king. Whew. All right. Yeah, we'll take a step back from the graveyard part and maybe work on the temple part. Okay, yeah, let's go in. It's time to go in, everybody. It's raining outside, so we're going to go in now. Get dry. Get warm. Check out the temple. Okay, so I'm going to first just make sure that where everything is on my layers, I'm going to go and create a perch that I want my Owl Lord to sit on. It's not really hard to make. Perches are not complicated. It's just a rod coming out of the ground, and then you just kind of put some kind of dowel on the top, making a T shape so that way the bird can land on there, and that way they can kind of sit and be perched. So this one's not really complex or really difficult to make. We can go and maybe just stick with a wall piece real quick. Oopsie, I'm not sure what that is, but okay. Did I mention I'm great at spelling? Like one of the best. Okay, I think this one right here will work just fine. It's kind of got two sections for the feet to perch. I don't want it to be made of wood. I'm actually going to probably make it made of metal instead, and so I'll just change the saturation like that. There we go. And now there's a perch right there. You can even rotate it a little bit if you want to make it show like the bird has shifted and moved. If you don't want it to be perfectly lined up, that's fine. So we have a perch here. I might even put some bird poop there on the ground, or owl poop, because, you know, owls got to relieve themselves too, okay? When nature calls, you know what I'm saying? All right? So we got a perch there. Now I want to decorate more of the interior. Maybe I want some carpet kind of leading up to it, and making carpets isn't complex. You can use a texture or just go right in and just use a rug. I think they have them. Let's go into Watercolor Battlemaps. Add in temple. Yeah, get back to the temple stuff. Not sure why we were going off on the graveyard. Not good, man. Not good. Okay, so I'll throw in a rug. Let's see what our rug options are here. There's a couple of them. You've got this rug right here, which I think is a little too bright. We could go with, oh, there's a gold one here. Let me type in rug and then go full expand all. Okay, let's take a look. Ooh, green's a cool color. I do like that. Snake rug, though I'm not sure a snake has anything to do with owls. I think it's fine. We can throw it in there. Let's just line it up right. I think that looks okay. All right, and we'll do a lot of changes. I might do some changes with HSBC to make different colors and stuff, and we'll play with filters as well. That might be another stream, because again, this took quite some time to put all this together already. So let's go ahead and take a look. We've got a rug that goes into the center here. Let's go ahead and select our outer wall and work on our entrance leading inward. Go back to our stair options right here. Okay, just like before, you can have a circular stair going in. Maybe we want it to be a different kind of staircase. Maybe we want it to be, oopsie, that will not do. Yikes. Oopsie, wall, there we go. Not sure why I made that boo-boo, naughty me. Go ahead and piece these together, copy, paste, and put these two together like this. There we go. That looks fine. And then I'm going to also push these down a layer. Put my walls underneath. There we go. Perfect. Yep, that will do just fine. Don't forget to go with that add mode of the mask tool. Fill in that section right there. All of your interior is the add mode. So don't forget about that. Let's go ahead and add that. There we go. So you got some staircase leading in. And of course, the staircase kind of going out. So now we've got this nice flow. It's kind of coming together now. Interesting shapes. Sweet. Okay, now we can continue decorating the interior with things that we want. So I'm not going to have any interior walls outside of maybe right here. So I want this to be a very open temple. There's not a lot of rooms. The only rooms I think I'm going to have are just going to be this interior right here. So I'll go ahead and add in some inner walls. Not hard to accomplish. Just go ahead and just take this shape right here. Or wait a minute, is there a L shape? Yeah, let's grab the L shape instead. And I think I can probably go about doing it like, let me see how I want to go about doing this. One moment. Right here. I think this will work just fine. Okay, and then, oopsie, jeez, Louise. Not fun. There we go. Copy, paste, there we go. A secret altar. Yeah, you can throw that in there if you wanted to. First, I'm going to go ahead and make my chamber right here. So now we can put a door right here, and players can walk into this section. So now that worked out quite nice. And that way you have separate rooms. I do want to have at least a separate room, but for the majority of your players inside of here can run around, slaying little whatever. It's going to be in here. I don't know. Up to you as a up to you as a DM to put whatever fun stuff you want in there. Okay, so again, I'm going to label some stuff as well, just so that people understand what things are. We're going to go with a rectory. I love saying that word. Let's go ahead and put out here, this is going to be our graveyard. There we go. So we got a graveyard right here. And I'm going to put my dome is right here. So that way people have an understanding of where things are. Let's put a garden right over here. So now I have kind of sections that are labeled. Oopsie, what happened to my other text? Oh, that was very weird. Did it just vanish? Yeah, that was super weird. I don't know what happened right there, but okay. It's probably because I need to save and refresh the page. No, that's not why I like that word, okay? That's not why I like that word. That's not true. Not true at all, you naughty person, you. I'm shaving carrots right now, you naughty. How dare you? That's not why I like that word. Okay, baby. I don't know. Look, everyone's got one, man. It's perfectly normal. All right, let's go ahead and add in the rectory. Not rectum, okay? There we go. Okay, finally. There we go. We got it. Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and save. I'll refresh the page. I know you're working on walls, but can I ask, is there a way to merge the rugs so they look smoother? I want a runner to go, oh, a runner. Yes, absolutely. I would suggest the blend mode lighten, and I'll show you how to do that. Baby sprout. Just hold on one moment while I save, and I'll show you how I do that. It might not work for every rug. Just know that some rugs have designs on them, and so that might not work out. I'm glad you asked that question, but I'll give you an example of how I go about doing runners. Let's say that you wanted to use this one, and this is a good one to put together because it's an example of how the blend mode lighten might not work in this circumstance, but I'll place two rugs side by side, and you'll notice that there's a line right here, right? The line between these two rugs. Well, that can be the issue, I think, that you're talking about, right? So I'm going to go ahead and line up this, put it right on top. Make sure it's up a layer. It's on top of these two. Switch over to lighten, and you can create a runner to where now you'll notice that that black line there is gone, and you can copy and paste as many as you see fit. So I'll copy and paste another one right on top like this. Grab that one, lighten, put it right on top again like this, and it just continues to go on and on. And it even shows the end of the runner. So the inside design is going to be lighter, and the rug at the end will be slightly darker. And that looks really nice as a runner. So that's my suggestion for doing that. And it works with all the rugs. Again, if the rugs have artifacts in them, it might not work. So make sure you just experiment. But lighten is a blend mode that's going to, when you put a stamp, the two stamps and one on top with a lighten blend mode, it's going to mostly remove a lot of the darker line work. So you'll see that, again, the line work for these artifacts that are here and there, they're lighter than the ones that don't have that lighten blend mode rug on top of it. So just some reference, an idea on how to create a runner. And this is the method I use every time. So again, light and blend mode is a magnifique, is a primo blend mode, okay? Absolutely use it. I actually might even change the size of my dome a little bit, make it a little bit smaller, I think, because I feel like it's taking up a ton of room. So I can bring it way down, because I actually would like a heck of a lot more room. So I'll go ahead and bring the size down, and the dome, I still want it to be in the center. I felt like it was just a little massive, and I'm sure other people here were also like, dude, do you really, you're gonna do that? You gonna do that? Well, yes, I am. Yes. Oh, stairs work as well. I mean, the light and blend mode works with everything, really. I'll just go over the whole thing for now, and I'll repaint the center. Just a moment. Just a moment. There we go. Okay. And I'll refill that section right here. Okay. And I might not go with red. We go with different colors. I haven't really figured out yet which way I actually want to go about it yet. So we'll figure that out later. There's still a lot going on. So things will change. Again, this will probably be a two-parter. I think. I don't think it's going to be a one-parter, and I actually kind of think that's just fine, because really, this kind of stuff it is a little time-consuming, but it really pays off when you want to do it right. So to do it right, let's do this one instead. I kind of like this texture better. There we go, much better. Nice, 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 nice. Okay. Let's also do some shadowing along our walls. I'll show you a great technique for shadowing walls. Yeah, ooh, stair rugs under the grand staircase and modular stairs. They are awesome. Absolutely, I totally agree. Okay, so now you have this texture right here that we've used. If I paint it, you'll see it doesn't show up. When you're doing your shadowing, there are two ways. You can use a dark texture, like a black texture, and then drop the opacity and push the softness up. But just know that if you use black, you will drown out the texture beneath it. So instead of using black, and you can use black, it's up to you, I actually like to use the same texture and just go to filters and then drop the brightness down quite a bit. And then from there I can change the opacity, make sure the softness is all the way up, and then I like to go in and put a line around the edge here underneath. Now you'll notice right away that as I'm adding in this texture, you'll notice right away that the section that I painted immediately starts to pop out. Again, I've mentioned this in streams, but this is called ambient occlusion. Look at the difference. You'll see a huge difference. This section right here looks like it pops out much more than this section right here. So we're using this ambient occlusion technique to make stairs pop out more. Question, I'm doing a large feasting hall. I wanted rugs to go full length of the room between the tables, but not in the entire room. Oh yeah, absolutely. Try using that technique. It's really, also you can paint your rugs. There's some great textures in Fantasy Regional and Parchment. And so you can use the actual paint tool and the shapes to actually create your own rugs, and then just use a filter to put artifacts on the rug, or use a texture that has artifacts on it. And then you can actually use stamps with various blend modes to create your own designs on rugs. We can kind of go over that later, but I've done that, and I actually really think it's fun to make your own rugs by painting them, and it's not as difficult as you think. But you can also use the modular rugs as well. They're pretty useful in my opinion. Okay, so I'll go in and I'm going to continue painting on these edges real quick. So let me just do this. I'm going to do a full all the way around the entire thing, and it's set to FG so it won't bleed over into the BG, the background. Okay, so I'm going to try to fit in as much as I can in the stream right now, so that way there's less on the next stream. I'm not going to add this ambient occlusion to the staircase right here, because what that is that it's going to make it look like it's not a stair but a wall. So don't use a lot of ambient occlusion on your stairs where they connect with the ground. Even the bottom part, I try not to use too much ambient occlusion, if any at all, on staircases. So first we're gonna go all the way around the edge here. That way we can really get that. And this is just the first pass, and we'll add a second pass as well. I always like to do multiple passes. Now you can use the stamp shadows to do the same thing, though it's a little bit more work. So I actually recommend that you do some painting. All right, we're painting all around these edges here. Okay, and you'll see that the edges are the walls are popping out now so much more. Really, really like that. That's really, really helpful. Okay, now that we've done that, I can go up to 100%, and I can drop the brightness down even more. Let's go with 25. Okay, and I'm going to bring the size way down. Okay, and you're going to do another pass just directly against the edge like this, and you're going to create a very thick dark line. You might even want to drop the opacity just a hair. Might be a little too much, actually. Let's go down here real quick. Let me just double check to make sure it's not too dark. Yeah, that looks a little too dark. We'll undo that, and we'll bring the opacity down. Oh, that's a softness. That would explain why. There we go. 75. Let's try that real quick. Oh, there we go. That's the line I want. Now you're going to go in with that final thick dark line, and that is going to help to make the wall really pop out. We'll keep going all around the ledge here, and it takes a few minutes to go all the way around, especially if you're using a mouse. I am using a drawing tablet, and drawing tablets are fantastic, but of course they aren't terribly expensive. There are some cheap ones out there that actually work pretty good. My first one was a Huion, and man, now that I have a tablet, I can tell you that it's just so much more preferable. Again, Huion, the T190 series, I think, is an affordable tablet that works really well. You just have to download the drivers. And believe me, I can tell you right now that it will really help with pretty much everything. Painting, putting forests down, blending. It doesn't work for everything. I don't use my tablet for a lot of things, for most things. I actually just use the tablet for very specific things. Right now, this painting that I'm doing, I'm using the pen. But if I'm moving stamps around, I actually prefer not to use the pen, because really it just kind of gets in the way and it's kind of a pain. Hey, Brian Marshall. The Almighty Master has arrived. Yes, yes. Lord Marshall, the Lord Marshall has arrived. Excellent. Yes. One of my favorite mappers is here. I pay homage to him. Okay, there we go. Now you'll see right away that those walls now really, really start to pop out now that we've added in that ambient occlusion. Really, really helps. And you'll probably do the same thing on the exterior as well with the BG as you go along, because that's going to help to make the walls pop on the outside as well. So you'll be doing a lot of that. I'm going to go ahead and save my changes and continue decorating the interior and giving function to each room. And thankfully, there's only 2 rooms in this whole place, so it's not that much. Perfecto. Yo. BM is here. Okay. We'll let this save, and we'll keep decorating. Cool. Keep going. You can do it. All right, so I'm going to add some stuff on the walls. I mentioned this in the beginning of the stream, but I feel like what makes a temple is its iconography. We're not iconoclasts here, so we're going to add a ton of detail to our walls to give it a little bit more character. You know, whether it's there's statues on the walls representing emblematic of the heroes of a tale, or you want to add in wall pillars, both for support and for aesthetic. So lots of different options that you can choose from. We'll go back into that temple pack and expand everything. And there are some fun stuff in here. I saw that there were some altars. Someone had mentioned a secret altar. We might put that in there. I see that there are these marble altars. You can put them against the walls if you want. Maybe put them side by side like this, one here and then another one maybe over, I don't know, over here somewhere. Let's see here. That's an entrance to some place. We could make this actually another entrance that leads in, so it goes directly to the garden. So let's go ahead and just real quick fix this outer wall section right here, and I'm going to remove some wall section here. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Put these, I think this is the right one. This one I'll do right here. And we'll make sure to put an entrance on this one. Oopsie. Ooh, really need to get rid of that escape button problem that I experience. Every time I press escape, it takes me out of out of the group, and I'm like, ah, why are you doing this? I loved you. Okay, here we go. There we go. And I'll kind of make it a smaller entrance. I don't want it to be super massive, so I want a little bit to the side. It's just a little side door that kind of goes out to the garden. That's kind of what I'm aiming for here. Ooh, let's just put this one right here. And we'll put another one right there. There we go. And then we can put a staircase kind of leading outward. A crazy looking staircase? Nah. Whoa, there's a corner one. Cool. I like that. Sweet. But I'll just go with normal. Okay. Add in this. I'll increase it just a bit. There we go. There we go. So a staircase going out to the garden, going into the rectory. We have our dome perch for the owl. Yeah, well, we'll see if we can change the behavior. I think that really you shouldn't be able to press escape to escape out of a group. You should just, there should be a little button up here that says leave group instead. I think I'd like that more than the escape button. I mean, it's the shortcut key is helpful, but at the same time, if you want to deselect something that you're placing, you might press escape and then it might take you out of the group. So there is that kind of, pitfall, unfortunately, and that happens. And I'll make sure to maybe mention this in maybe a feature request or an art meeting or whatever meeting, and just be like, hey, could we maybe not do that? And I think actually Philip has mentioned it, so it might already be kind of on the to-do list. So that's kind of exciting. Yeah, because hey, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to keep adding more details. I'm going to maybe put some statues. Just see how it looks first, but maybe I can put some statues somewhere. Let's add in more statues. Ooh, cool. This one right here. Yeah, this might work. I can put it maybe up against here. Let me just check out my room and space. Oh, yeah, I could put statues along the sides there, along each pillar, guarding them. Let's see, there's this one right here too. If I wanted, I could put one on each corner, like one there, one here. You can do that. Oh my goodness, the options are endless. So let's just see how that looks. All I'm trying to do is just kind of make it more ornamental, because again, it's the iconography that really kind of tells the story. And so I'll try to add as much icons and iconography as possible into it. I don't really care for that. It doesn't look good. That's the beauty of it. You can always go out and change it. I'm not even sure if I even like the arches, so that might go too. Let me take a look. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. Things are subject to change. That's the beauty of it. I'm not even sure I like the rug. There's so much that I may or might not like. So many things that might change. Who knows? We'll see. Let's go ahead and delete that rug for now. And I'm not even sure I like this whole dome thing the way that I carried it about. It might change, so we'll see. And we only have about 15 minutes left. Let's go ahead and just save this, and then we will continue moving forward, I think, next month with this one. I hope you got the general idea. I tried in the beginning just to kind of give you some ideas on how to make the shapes of your buildings, because getting started is a real pain in the butt for those of you who just maybe waltzed in and didn't hear this in the beginning. But it's okay to go in and to kind of just take a top-down stamp from Watercolor Cities or a top-down fantasy battle map building, and to kind of really scale it up, and then to use it as a guide. So that was really helpful. Oh, here's a question. Maybe flip the arches to be pointed inwards. peak towards the center. Yep, that's totally an option. That's not a bad idea. Antler panda, thank you. Love and Antle red panda. Oh, I'm not sure. My bad. But that's a great suggestion, by the way. That's something that we maybe might want to consider doing. I'm not really against that idea. Okay. But I mean, at the same time, you know, again, just having a general idea of what your temple is dedicated to, whatever the gods are, goddesses, deities, whatever they might be. Focus on if they're a god of fire, then maybe you want to go with a fiery background where you have lava pools. If it's going to be a water temple, hey, put it along on a cliff alongside the ocean. Put it on an island that's in a bay somewhere. Make it underwater. If you're going to have a sky temple, put it on top of a floating island, right? If you're going to have a temple that's dedicated to the wind, a wind temple, you know, for those gassy gods, then, you know, put it on top of a really tall karst or a tall cliff, right, up against the edge of a cliff. If you're going to make a temple dedicated to the dead, then maybe you want to add a graveyard. Maybe you want to add some crypts and stuff like that. So the theme of your temple is determined by the god that it is in homage to. So again, just think about that when you're making your temple. And again, do not start from scratch and just start throwing down walls and hoping for the best. Have an outline already in your head and use stamps like we did earlier. And I'll show you how I did that real quick. For those of you who might have waltzed in, I know we had a kind of a slow start. Hope none of you mind who are here, but I'm going to show you the technique on how to come up with a design. So I apologize for the repetition, but I want to just show this so that people who just waltzed in will see it. So if you go to Watercolor Cities, this is where I usually start because Watercolor Cities has the most shapes when it comes to top-down buildings. So it's perfect, right? Now, if I type in temple, and this is just the reference that I used, you'll notice that I used this shape right here. Okay, so I scaled this up real big, and then I just made the walls to make it fit, okay? And that is how I put that together, is you can go through whatever stamp you want. Maybe you want to make a temple with this stamp instead. You know, just scale it up and make sure that it's big enough and then use it as a guide, okay? That's how I went about doing it. Also, there's other ways of going about doing your design. I've done this in the past, and actually it's really helpful if you want to have it included in the map, but sometimes I'll put down a stamp like this and I'll make it completely dark, and then with the path tool I can go in and kind of create all my rooms. So it's kind of a little architectural trick that I've used before. So let's say that you want this to be a room right here. This whole section is a room. Maybe, oopsie, let's push that up a layer. My mistake. We'll go that down one. My mistake. Push it down. I want to be able to see my line work. There we go. So you're going to want to do this to dedicate, to show that there are different rooms. So this kind of helps me to create an idea of what each room is. Maybe I want it to go like this, and maybe all of this is one room right here. Maybe I want a separate room. Maybe this is a separate room right here. So going in with the path tool over a silhouette of a stamp can help you to start putting together the room structure. Once you've added in that, then you can go in and label each room. So let's say that you want to say that one is the nave. If you don't know what a nave is, it's the largest center part of a cathedral. That's pretty much where most people sit, okay? And then there's a little bit of a vestibule. The vestibule is the beginning of the cathedral or temple or whatever that's in there, okay? And there's all kinds of different, you could have different chapels, because the cathedrals have various alcoves and things like that, that basically they have little chapels that are dedicated to, you know, patron saints of whatever the fudge. So, I mean, whatever it is. Let's add in a chapel here. So you can have several chapels. Let me curve this real quick. So you have chapel 1, chapel 2. Maybe you have a chapel in each corner, right? That's up to you. Again, you want that form and function. Then you want to add in maybe your sacristy, If you don't know what a sacristy is, it's basically where a lot of the pomp, it's where the ceremony takes place, where the priest is with the altar. That's usually where the sacristy is. So hold on a second here. We'll get that fixed. Oopsie. For some reason, every time I type something, it does some pooey business. Sure. Why are you being a butt? There's a sacristy, and that's where your basically your altar is going to be. So when you're putting together your temple, you at least know where things are at. So you have, again, that chapel in each section here. And then from there, you can add in more things, like maybe you want to have the rectory be, usually the rectory is on the side, but we'll put the side right here. There's the rectory. And this last section can maybe be the baptismal. This is where the baptismal font is on the side. So yeah, so it's a great way to go through and kind of, whoa, well, that's special. Thank you, Lily Rose. For the sake of all the virgin ears here, I will not repeat what has been said in the chat. Yeah, so absolutely. So this is kind of a method that I use when I want to put together buildings. Just know that if you don't do any pre-planning, it's going to take a heck of a lot longer to put it together. So this kind of pre-planning method works. And you can use any stamp. There's also isometric, pseudo-isometric stamps from Fantasy Regional. If you want to use them as a guide, you absolutely can. So it's up to you how you want to go about it. But this has been the method that has worked well generally for me. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and save it. Is there any questions that people have before I take my lunch? I am open. So please feel free to ask any questions. We've been going for 2 hours. Yeah. Temples are so much fun. Ooh, what do we got next week? How to create world maps on Monday the 9th. Excuse me. With the Fantasy Regional style. Oh, so sweet. I'm excited. Me flying by the seat of my pants, building a building before thinking about what it'll even be for. Why do my towns feel so awkward? How do you do the stonework around the dragons so it looks like it's outside? The stonework around the dragons. Do you mean this thing right here, Baby Sprout? These statues right here? Just want to make sure that I understand the question. Let me know, Baby Sprout. Is this correct? You're asking about these right here. Let me circle it so that I understand it. This right here. Aha, yes, absolutely. Well, I believe these are actually part of a staircase. So let me go into the stamps real quick. This one is called a staircase railing, I think. But you can use any wall piece that you want. And all I'm doing is just using it to create a platform, because it's really hard to tell that it's a platform. So let me show you how to do that. So when you first look at this, you think it's just a piece of wall or you're not sure what it is. You would totally add in a texture and do the ambient occlusion thing. And you would do it on the outside, because if you put it on the inside, then it's going to look like that there's depth going inward. And that's okay if you want that. If you want it to be like a retaining wall or something, or a little wall that kind of has the statue inside of, that's fine. You can go about that way. But if you don't want that and you want it to be just a lip, then just add a dark shadow right here along the edge right here, just like we did with the interior, just to represent a dark kind of shadow. Now that looks like it's a platform, it's raised up. It's that same concept. Ambient occlusion is how you make things pop up. Okay, so always add in ambient occlusion. Yeah, they do look like dragons a little bit, though they look like, almost looks like Cthulhu. Yeah, got a little bit of crazy outfit here. Yeah, heck yeah. It's holding onto his belt. I am a Drago human. I am half dragon. Love it. So sweet. Statues are my favorite. You can't go wrong with statues. I hope that helped, Baby Sprout. Feel free to ask any other questions that you might have. Believe me, I will answer them. I will answer them. Hello. I will answer them. I think I got like 2 hours of sleep last night, so maybe that's causing some of it. And I didn't even smoke anything before this stream, man. Just kidding. All right, yeah, feel free to ask any more questions that you might have. Please do. And hey, if you don't know, we have a stream request channel on our Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, shame on you. How could you? I'm just kidding. Join our Discord. Everyone there is so nice and sweet. And the ones that aren't nice, we boot their asses out. How do you like that? Jerks, be gone. We don't allow blue meanies in our bus. No way. Our Discord server is safe and killer. Yeah, definitely join the Discord server. Oh, you didn't know, Baby Sprout? Ooh, ow, join the Discord. Just know that if you join the Discord, I'm sure Cheryl, one of the mods, will add in the link, but go join the Discord. Make sure that you first go into the roll channel, #roll channel, and then in the roles channel, click the Inkarnator role, because if you don't click that Inkarnator role, then you might not be able to see all the channels. In fact, you won't see all the channels. And do we have lots of goody channels? So good, so good. Yes, absolutely. Go to our Discord, join that right away. Get the Inkarnator role. Go to the stream request channel, and then just go ahead and punch whatever ideas you have there. Just make sure you follow those rules first. Basically, the rules are really simple. Don't do more than one request per post. And please be sure to mention first in order the map style and what map you want. Try to limit any kind of description that you're putting in there to a minimum. No one wants to read a paragraph. So just make the description fairly short. Just say you want a map of just put the map style, so fantasy, regional, coastal city, watercolor cities, volcano capital, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to go in and send in your requests, because believe me, we will follow your requests. If you suggest something and it gets a lot of upvotes, we'll likely add that into the schedule. So, and we already have quite a bit going on. If you haven't yet, go check out the schedule, because we do a ton of streams. There's quite a few streams that we do, so check them all out. Our Discord should also have the stream calendar. It's up here. This is for May. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, this is what we got going on this month. I'm super excited about so many of these. Some of these are going to be really fun. Can't wait for the world map. Can't wait for the cosmology. That's going to be fun as fudge. I can't wait. That's going to be great. And I'm excited about political maps as well. So that's going to be fun. World maps. It means the world to me. I must have the world maps. Absolutely. I totally agree. Heck yeah. World maps are the only way to go. Heck yeah. So I'm excited about that. I look forward to doing all of those streams. So again, join the Discord and be sure to put in your requests, because hey, we want to do what you want, okay? It just look funky. Oh no, funky world maps. Oh. Hey, on our YouTube channel, there is a time-lapse guide by Philip called World Map Guide. Primo content. Go check it out. Philip, the wizard of the videos. He is a world map wizard. Wizard. You understand me? He is a paladin of freaking world maps. So go check out that guide. If you're looking for more of a disoriented guide, you can go check out my How to Create World Maps guide or How to Create Coastlines guide, because that stream will also cover making land masses and stuff like that. But it's not nearly as superior as a Monsieur Philip. I will assure you of that right now. So go check that out. Go check it out. Great stuff. We're going to be adding a lot more clips and thumbnails, map makeovers. So look forward to that. I'm really enjoying doing all this content. So super exciting. Oh, King Clown. Philip cities are fantastic. I can also speak to another person of great renown for their cities. The Lily Rose. Truly, the world maps are I could wake up to those maps. Just, I love them. They're great. Fantastic stuff. Eventually, I think what I'd really like to do is have a series. Yes. City map. Oh, am I thinking of the wrong person? I might be. Oh my goodness. Did I just embarrass myself? Yes. Hey, ding ding. Let's wake up and smell the map. Yeah. Wait, who does? No, who does? So many people do city maps. It's hard for me to keep track of everyone. I'm pretty sure it's Lily Rose who is the master of cities. I know I have it right. Are you trying to fool me, Lily Rose? I knew you were trying to throw me off. I knew you were. Now, I think it'd be super cool to actually do a full-on city series. We did a village to city stream, but I'd really like to have streams that have multiple parts and that are a little bit more larger projects. I think those would be kind of fun, like making a city map using the fantasy world style instead of using, because sometimes it's nice to have a city that isn't, top down. It's nice to have maybe a beautiful pseudo isometric or somewhat isometric map. So yeah, I mean, I definitely always prefer ISO cities. That's just me personally. Oh yeah, Lily Rose is working on a city map as we speak. Go join the Discord. I swear, you must do this. Please join the Discord. All right. Well, I mean, hey, if there's any other questions, let me know, and I'll take my lunch. I'll make sure to upload this video to YouTube so that way you can watch it. Personally, I don't like working top down. I can't tell what any of the assets are. My wife says the same thing. I don't know what this is. I totally understand. You just got to have an eye for the top down thing. But I absolutely love isometric city maps. I love making them. So I think that that's something that I want to include. Please, please, please go give me all of your suggestions. Give them to me. Give them to me now. Give me the suggestions in the stream chat. Do them now. Now. Don't wait. Don't pick your nose. Go do it. All right. Hey, thank you, everybody. It's been great. I've really enjoyed chatting with you all and kind of making whatever this temple thing is. I don't know what it is now. I do like the shape, and I'll probably do a lot of changes. I might even just ditch the dome, frankly, because it might not work well. We can make changes as we go. So next month, we will continue on making a temple, and I'm excited about that. All right. Well, hey, everybody, please stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much for bearing with me on this Thursday afternoon. And I will see you all next Monday, hopefully, when we do World Maps with Fantasy Regional. Pow! Yeah! All right, everybody, please stay safe and healthy. Merry map making, and I will see you all next week. Thank you so much.